So what do we do about this? How do we increase this engagement? We have to understand what drives engagement to be able to improve engagement. It starts with a leader. It starts with whatever in your particular business leader happens to be. Leader in your business could be the owner, could be the manager, could be a supervisor. It has to do with what the employee believes is the leader for them. That leader, they need it. They need the leader to be compassionate. They need the leader to have some dignity. And certainly they need the leader to have some empathy, to understand. And so they're telling us, 92% of the employees, they're more likely to stay if their boss today shows them more empathy. Also, our employees want feedback. They want to know where they stand. They want to know, what am I doing well? What can I continue to do that you're seeing out of me that I want to do? Let them know. However, they also want to know, what can I do to improve? If you only give them the constructive feedback, it's probably going to be something that most of our team members, especially in our field, most of our team members will look at that as not a very compassionate leader. All they want is more out of me. I'm just doing a bad job. There's no value there in what I do. Flexibility. So we talked earlier about flexibility, how important flexibility in their job, especially for millennials. So what we're seeing and what the research tells us is that flexibility doesn't mean I don't have to do a good job. It just means it's what are those parameters? Can I come in earlier to get off a little earlier? Can I go to my kid's game at 4 o'clock? And I'm willing to come in at 7 to be able to do that. Can I take half a day off on Friday, but I'm willing to put in 3 hours throughout the rest of the week to be able to do that because I've got a show and my kid's a play? That flexibility is extremely important. And as our millennials continue to get older, they don't change what's important to them. They just happen to have kids now, have a family now. So we have to understand that. But what's still important to them is flexibility in the role and the job. And then culture. If you don't think you have culture in your business today, you're fooling yourself. Everyone has a culture. Your culture may not be as prominent. You might not be able to write down what it is. But culture never sleeps. Culture is happening every single day in your particular business. And culture will either allow folks to be successful, or certainly culture can drop people out. But culture is always, always happening. And the good news is you have the ability to manage your culture. But if you don't, it's going to manage you and it's going to manage your business for you. It never goes to sleep. So a few things that, again, shared common amongst our talent selection team and certainly in the HR field is, what can we do? What can you do? Well, first it starts with communication. You really have to communicate with your employee base what's happening. You have to have open communication. And so my friend, I was telling you about John, small business, 20, 25 employees out there. Every morning, 8 o'clock, just a quick little powwow. Some of you probably do that as well. But there's value in that. There's just value in aligning the team. There's value for the employees to understand, hey, you trust me enough to share with me where we're going, what we're doing. Workspace environment. So I'm not saying you have to go build a Google workspace environment that has open doors and open walls, and that, you have a machine on your first floor that has a Frappuccino machine. But what we're saying is, interesting enough, the workspace needs to promote your business and what thrives in your business. If collaboration is a big part of your business and you need people to cross over, but if your workspace happens to have offices that are separated, it doesn't really promote what thrives in your particular business. And you just have to understand what that happens to be. Recognition and incentives. Peer-to-peer recognition seems to be the biggest driver in team member and employee performance. Peer-to-peer. They love to hear from their boss, sure. They really love to hear when one of their peers recognizes them for a job well done. And the research tells us it's not about just cash. Cash is good for our employees. Cash is good for your employees, whatever that happens to be from an incentive. But really where it drives behavior and where it drives value and specifically emotion is when the cash is tied to business results. So one of the challenges we face in the restaurant industry is that our salaried managers believe a bonus is part of their compensation. They just expect it. The downside to that is all of a sudden whenever they're in a underperforming restaurant and they're not getting that great bonus, they think they're underpaid. And it's because we haven't done a good job of tying the bonus to really a business metric, an emotional tie to the business metric. So they just think it's there and it is there every day. But the ones that get it, the ones that understand, hey, I know this is my salary, this opportunity on a bonus is tied to my business, then all of a sudden there's an emotional connection and they kill it from a bonus perspective, consistently. And so there's a pretty big dynamic going on there with those two folks. And then lastly, well-defined roles. Although the general employee base wants flexibility, they want to know what's expected of them. They still want to know. Job descriptions are still important. It's still important to know what's expected of them. It's still important for them to know what you expect out of them. All right. Bobby mentioned earlier that we won an employee engagement award. This is actually the second time, and this is not in the restaurant industry. This is across all industries. So at this employee engagement award in Chicago, I had the opportunity to hear a speaker from Boeing, an HR vice president from Boeing. And so everyone is facing the same opportunities when it comes to engagement. But some of the things we got recognized for, I want to share with you, because what the overall employer base is seeing and what the HR field is seeing is some of the things we just talked about. So personal growth. We're going to talk about growth in a moment. Our employees want growth. We offer no-cost education to our employees, whether it's a GED or an associate's degree. Not everybody can do that, but we can offer something. We can do something to help promote them from a personal growth perspective. We offer professional growth. So we have the Certified Shift Leader program I'm going to share with you in just a moment, a little bit more detail about that. That is now a nationally recognized apprenticeship program by the Department of Labor. And so this gives our hourly team member base an opportunity to move up. It's part of our build strategy that I'll share with you in just a moment. We have a focused Women Taking the Lead program across the country. So we realize and understand not only do we need more women in leadership positions, but we also have to understand what the opportunity is for leaders for women to get into those leadership positions. And so we have across the country Women Taking the Lead workshops where we identify high potential female leaders that are already with us that we want to elevate and try to understand what's unique about them and their challenges in the restaurant industry. Flexibility, we offer part-time managers positions, which again, not too common in our industry. And work from home for our office in Dallas, work from home opportunities. Again, trying to fit that flexibility piece that many of our employee base wants. And then culture, a well-being platform for every single team member out there. So for the overall 40,000 team members that work for the organization, a well-being opportunity to not only be the best employee, but also to be your best you. How do you get healthy? We have plenty of health options for the team. Again, the education piece. So many different well-being platforms that we offer to our team members, and then a recognition program that I would challenge is one of the best in the industry. So those are things that we've seen to drive that employee engagement up. You know, earlier I mentioned communication, but I didn't mention this. So we survey our team member base every year, sometimes once a year, sometimes twice a year. What I will tell you is that our engagement scores at 72+% are pretty outstanding, especially when it comes to the industry that we're in. What I'll also share with you is the biggest opportunity for us to improve continues to be communication. Every single survey is communication. Now, it means something different to every team member that's getting on there and filling that survey out, but they want more communication, and I failed to mention that. That's how important communication is to our employee base. Okay, so if we're really great at hiring and we get the best candidate, we align, we do everything we can do to make sure it's not only my expectations as a hiring manager, but theirs. we have this environment where we're engaging and we understand what engagement means. We truly are engaging our team, getting the best out of them and making an emotional connection. Part of that engagement, and I would certainly miss if I didn't specifically focus on the grow part of engagement. So why is internal growth so important? And so we know that there's a shortage. We know there's an opportunity out there from an employee base. In 2008, what happened to the economy? Obviously it tanked. Big recession. In this room, probably the biggest recession some of us have seen, and certainly a big recession that impacted the economy. But it not only impacted the economy, it also impacted birth rates. So birth rates substantially went down after 2008. And so when you think about that and what that means to you as an employer, eventually that's going to catch up to us. And the projections are very clear. We're just not going to have enough overall workers. So that means we do have to grow from within. We do have to understand how do we expand our employees' expectations, what their responsibilities are. And so, as you can see, having a strong culture of learning, it's going to increase your retention rates by 30 to 50%, and retention has to be the name of the game as we move forward. So this video is not going to play for us because we had some speaker issues. While it's showing, I do want to tell you this because I'm very happy with this program. Can't really get a lot of... Yeah, they're trying to talk. Hang on, let me go back. Let's see if I can pause it. Okay, this Certified Shift Leader program is an hourly program that I shared earlier. We realize that our 38,000 team members are truly the future of our organization from a leadership perspective. You have the talent in your businesses today to take you forward. Sometimes they don't know they're the talent, and sometimes we don't know they're the talent. What we found out is when we started forcing this opportunity onto people, they really started rising to the occasion. And so a year and a half ago, I had the pleasure of leading this program for the brand. And so we started off with 25 hourly team members and showed an opportunity for them to move into an hourly supervisor position, to eventually move into a salary position. Some of them, the manager said, oh, there's no way. They wouldn't do that. Some folks that have come into the program now, people would say, oh, I had no idea they wanted to be a manager for us. So the opportunity was right there. We had a 35% internal promotion rate when we started. We're at 70% today. We go through roughly 1,000 managers, and I say go through loosely, that's probably not the best terminology. We need 1,000 managers a year, unfortunately, in our organization. We went from finding 350 of them internally to 700 of them internally now. So what that's done now is something that, so internally people are talking about it. We've got over 1,000 of them now that have gone through a module to understand what it is, and they've said, hey, I want that. 1,000. It's 1,000 future leaders for us right there, okay? We also now are sharing that externally, and we're partnering with a military program. Because it is an apprenticeship program by the Department of Labor, military veterans can come right out of the military and go right into this program and get some of their GI money because of this. Already working on that. As a matter of fact, I interviewed one last week, and she was outstanding. I can't wait for her to start. So the internal growth programs that are out there, they will make a difference for you. Your leadership, most of the time, is already in your restaurant, or in your business. I've been pretty good about staying away from just restaurant. A couple of things to think about. You have to be transparent. You've got to tell the team and your employees, we're going to do this. Here's why. Here's how much money you can make. Show them the growth, not only growth personally, but growth monetarily. They need to see it. Potential, extremely important. Again, BMAC was way ahead of it. Bobby was way ahead of it when he knew potential. Just kidding. But hard-working employees are great to have, but that is not always potential. We've made many mistakes by promoting hard-working employees into management positions, and it didn't work out. But some things clearly show us they have potential. Intellectual curiosity, willingness to learn, problem solving. You can ask questions around that, really identify future leaders in your organization. Culture, it's got to be a culture that truly is a learning and growing culture. If you say something but your culture doesn't match it, people will leave, they'll get frustrated. And strategic, if you have an HR partner, you have an someone in the HR organization that can help partner with you on this, I implore you to do that. That's my HR check of the day. Technology can help you. There are many folks out there. Hey, there we go. I gotta go. Sorry. That's good for me. Technology can help you. Different size businesses here today, obviously, but there are certainly off-the-shelf, some technology off-the-shelf that can help you and your business as you're thinking about a growth strategy for your business. Perfect timing, Bobby. Okay. When I think about just what I'd love for you to take away today is it starts with hiring. If you're not aligned with the candidate, not necessarily just aligned on your needs, but their needs, you miss an opportunity and it'll cost you in the long run. If you don't have a growth strategy, you're missing out on some diamonds that are in the rough, that are there. Some of them just need a little nudge. Some of them show potential, but maybe we're not looking for it. But that is the future of your organization, in my belief. It starts with leadership. Whatever leadership happens to be for the employee, leadership means something different for everyone. Find out what that means to them. The workforce in the next 10 years is going to get tough, even tougher than it is today. All the numbers show, everything tells us that. It's only going to get tighter. And then engagement. Engagement is part of our future. If you're not engaging with your employees, truly understanding that engagement and happiness are different, and making an emotional connection with that employee to your business results, there's a missed opportunity as well. The future for me is bright. Although I probably just painted a very bleak picture, I think it's bright because I think we can do these things as employers. We can follow a few simple steps. And I know it's already working for us. When I start to see 700 of our hourly team members buy their first car, buy their house, get married, it's pretty amazing to watch now as all these hourly team members are continuing to move their way up our organization. It's an amazing thing to see. It's not only gratifying to me personally, it's gratifying to our company also. So that's it. I know I'm right at my time, so thank you all so much. I don't know if we had time for questions, but we may not. So.